that the sellers, check this out, that are selling their house that you make an offer on are willing to take your offer with your house being contingent on it selling. That's pretty interesting, huh? What is a contingency? Well, all realtors should know this. If not, you're going to know it or learn about it. A contingency clause defines a condition or action that must be met for a real estate contract to become binding. A contingency becomes part of a binding sales contract when both parties, the buyer and seller, agree to the terms and sign the contract. So I had to sell my house before I could get into another home. This was my wife's house, right? And I'm sure this happens all the time. You move in with your boyfriend, girlfriend, you get married. One of them owns the house, the other one doesn't. And so I go ahead and my wife finds a house and she's sitting online. She's looking every night. And for those of you out there that are wondering about selling your home, once someone gets the bug to purchase a house, they're just like my wife, just like my client's spouse. They're on their phone every night. They're on Zillow, they're on Realtor.com, and they're looking at houses. Boom, boom, boom. And my client's wife would do this all the time. They'd say, Frazier, we want to look at this house. Frazier, we want to look at this house, this house. They had already picked out the houses. I was also looking lightly for them, but anytime I sent them a house, they had already seen it. So you're looking at the house, you find the house you want, you go and you check it out, you make sure it meets all your needs and checks all your boxes. Your real estate agent will know this, but before you make an offer on the house you're about to buy, there's two things you need to take into consideration. One is, can you buy it? And two, is your house ready? So how do you know if you can buy the house or not? Well, we don't want to waste each other's time. You don't want to waste my time as a realtor. I don't want to waste your time. So why don't we find out whether or not you can purchase the house? I used to sell cars. I was Berglund Luxury Salesperson of the Year when I left there. And I say that because it was a big deal to me to have that title and be able to sell so many cars and just do so well. I'm so thankful to work there and for the good folks at Berglund. But there were folks that would come in and they would waste 3, 4, 5 hours. We're talking a whole afternoon, but they didn't have good credit. So then they'd say, yeah, you know what, I'd like to buy this car. I can only afford $450 payments a month. You go to run their credit and their credit's terrible. So it's the same thing when you go to purchase a house. You want to make sure that it's a good fit for you and your budget and that you can buy a house. Interesting story about me. I'm working at Berglund, right? I'm there and my wife wants to purchase a house. And there's always a stronger decision maker, right? My wife was the decision maker. She is a lot like my buddy Jamie's wife. And Jamie said, hey, I'm happy with the house, but my wife wants another one. I told my wife I'm happy with the house, but she wants another one. Have you run into this before? Your partner is okay with the house. Hey, I could live here for 180 years, but you want to move. You're like, no, this place, I want something different. Or it's too small. We've outgrown this. I want to change the scenery. But the other person is content and could stay there. So I'm working at Berglund and my wife says, hey, look, I want to move. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. And she goes, all right, well, do you know anybody that, any mortgage lenders? I was like, I know a couple. And if you're looking to get a loan and you need some help, I have a few people at my disposal. You can message me right now on Facebook, FrazierHughes.com@gmail.com. Email me, text me, 314-5583. And I'll help you. I'll put you in touch with someone. And I sat down with this individual, and his name is Jonathan Sweat. And Jonathan is a lender here in Roanoke. And he works for Alcova Mortgage. And he is one of the guys that said, hey, you should get your real estate license, Frazier. I think you really do well at it. So I have no problem telling people about him. But I sat down with him, and within just a few minutes, he was able to tell me what my wife and I could afford. And did I know? I did not know this, but being at Berglund and being 100% commission, I had to be at Berglund for a certain amount of time for a bank to consider loaning me money to purchase a house. So I couldn't at that time. I had no idea. But my wife could. Okay, so my wife could, and then she had some equity in her house. So, okay. So, and then he started giving me options. He's like, you can't right now, Fraser, but she can. Here's what you can do. And then I said, hey, well, we want to have a certain payment per month. He's like, okay, well, here's what you do with your payment per month. So fast forward a year and a half later, my wife makes a phone call to Tessa over at Freedom First. And Tessa ends up doing our loan for us. And, I was kind of torn. You're going to run into this too, where, you might want to use me as a real estate agent, but you told your buddy a couple years ago, hey, I promise. You see what I'm saying? So she runs into Tessa and sits down with Tessa at Freedom First. And she says, Tessa, I want to have this payment per month. And here's what we're going to sell our house for, what Fraser feels is a good, fair price. And Tessa says, okay, well, here's how much you can afford. And we could afford the house. So we're thinking, okay, cool. So the first thing to get squared away is the loan and what you can afford for your home. Okay. And the second thing too is to make sure that your house is ready. Okay. And I'm not going to cover everything today. I'm just going to cover the bases. And if you got any questions, you can just directly inbox me. Okay. So making sure your house is ready to put it on the market. Well, when you go and find the house that you like and it's contingent on you selling yours, they're going to want you, the seller of the house, when you make the offer, is going to want you to have yours on the market or on the market within 24 hours. That's exactly what we did. So we make an offer on the home we want to purchase, and it's contingent on us selling ours. So within 24 hours, I had to put my wife's house on the market. I had it under contract in less than a day. I mean, it was crazy. The last house that I sold, I had an offer on it in 4 hours, full offer. They'd never seen the house. And it's still just like this here in Roanoke, regardless of the coronavirus. So I had to make sure the house was clean. I had to stage each room. I had to clear it out. So in order to take good pictures in each room, you want to make sure it's clean, no clutter, nothing on the kitchen counters. And what makes it really easy for the photographer is that when they come over is that it is clean already, but you can take something out of one room and move it to the other while the picture is taken. It's going to take a little bit longer. And I definitely, depending on the house, maybe it's out in the country, if it's got a big lot, get a good drone shot of the house. So being presentable, being clean, it's like going out on a date. You want to make sure you've had a shower, you smell good, you know what I'm saying, and do the necessary repairs to your house. I'm not saying put an addition onto your home, but we did have some painting done to the outside. We did have some tile put in the kitchen and in the bathroom. There was a patch in the dining room where the ceiling had a small leak years ago that we had fixed. All of these things make the house pop and look good. Maybe some fresh mulch out front is not going to hurt either. So being presentable. Now, when it comes to purchasing the other home, you definitely want to make sure that your realtor is having a home inspection done with an inspection addendum. The addendum to the inspection. What is an addendum? There's different ones in real estate, but an addendum to real estate contract or purchase agreement is a document attached and made part of the original contract at the time it is prepared. And this could be added as an addendum to the purchase contract. So the addendum to your inspection to your home states that you want certain things done to the home, like a radon test. You definitely want to get it tested for termites. You want to make sure it's in good, sound shape. And the inspector is going to tear the house apart. And you're paying. Remember, you got to pay for some things out of pocket. Your inspection is going to be $500 or less. And also, too, the appraisal from the bank, that ain't free either. That could be $500 or less, too. So you got to think about all of these things that are coming into play, because when that inspection comes back, the inspector could say, hey, you know what? This thing needs new gutters, and there's water leaking from the sink upstairs that needs to be fixed. Now, you can agree ahead of time that you could it could be up to $1,000 worth of repairs, but this inspection addendum allows you to come back to the seller and say, hey, you know what? We want this, this, and this fixed, and we want you to pay for this. If not, we're not buying the house, which is pretty interesting. It protects you in a great way. So make sure you have an inspection done to the home, and ask them also for a home warranty, which they pay for. Hello? Hi, how are you? That was my 2-year-old saying hi to me. How can you ignore a beautiful voice like that? So when you have the home warranty included, the home warranty, they pay for it. The seller pays for it. It's about $500 for the best one. There's Choice Home Warranty, which is what I used, and that covers almost everything in the house after you buy it. Like if the washer and dryer quit working, your air conditioning unit goes out. So just a couple things to take into play here. So if you're going to sell your home, let's recap a few different things taking place here. Is that you want to make sure it's presentable. You want to make sure that your realtor has the house being shown, and also getting feedback from your realtor. You know, I purchase houses in Florida, Raleigh, Charlotte, Roanoke, Richmond as part of my last job, and I would talk to people that had realtors, and I'd say, well, what did your realtor say? And they'd say, what do you mean? I said, what kind of feedback was your realtor giving you about why your house didn't sell? And they said, oh, no, the realtor didn't tell me anything. So I always ask realtors when they go to show my property that I have listed, hey, what did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Because I want the house I have listed to sell as soon as possible. All right, I want to find out what's wrong with the house. Why are people not liking it? Is it because it has a swimming pool? Is it because the kitchen's too small? Things of that nature. Good, constant, fluid communication is absolutely key when it comes to listing your home. And then also when purchasing your home. And I've run into some other realtors that are, for the most part, that are really cool, and some that are jerks. Some that are really arrogant and, hey, I can't believe you didn't leave a light on the front porch. I mean, really? Seriously? But hey, what comes around goes around, right? So that's why I try to always be positive and treat people as the way I would want to be treated. So there's one important thing here that I don't want you to miss when it comes to selling your home, because this could really bite you. So you've got your house contingent to sell, right? And you made an offer on the other house and everything works out. You're selling your house, you're buying the other house, and it comes to moving time. But you close on your house on Thursday and the movers aren't coming till Wednesday. So what am I getting at? Well, you need to start from the very beginning to get your realtor to ask for special permission to enter the house early before it closes, say a week ahead of time, so you can move your stuff. If not, because movers aren't cheap. You see where the stress can kind of come into play here? Hey, I'd like to share your house at 6 o'clock today, and you've got full of kids. So, and packing's not easy. So you don't want all of your stuff sitting in a moving truck overnight, because that's going to cost you money when you can move into the house earlier. And that's a separate piece of paper as well, or document, when it comes to purchasing the house too. And you know, today I feel like I covered the basics. If you have any other questions, I'm sure you do, feel free to email me, FrazierHughes.com at gmail.com. That's Frazier with the Z. I'm Hughes or Lose on Instagram, and the Frazier Hughes Experience on Facebook. Because you know, selling your home and then buying one is a really big deal, and you want to make sure that you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and you can do it right now with the coronavirus. And if you think things are a little hectic right now with the coronavirus, it's going to pick up as soon as this thing goes away in the next month or two. And now is not a better time to purchase or sell your home because people are online. Just make sure you stay safe and stay clean, and just think positive. Try to stay away from the news, and enjoy the time that you have with others, right? Like, enjoy that little extra time you have with your son at home, even though it can kind of be annoying that they're having to come in. And if you come in the room, that's why you're working. And if you lost your job, you know, I really feel for you, and I understand it, and I get it. And this is all temporary, and things are about to change. You know, what doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger. And from now on, I appreciate you listening to the Roanoke Real Estate Podcast. Things are going to change. We're going to have on special guests and different topics each week. I'm your host, the Frazier Hughes Experience.